This is possibly the best advertisement for a game you could possibly have, and I mean that as a compliment, because I have been playing it since I heard about this movie on my phone. Hi, everyone. It's me, Grant, the movie and TV guy. This is not our permanent set, I promise you. I know the last couple of videos have been here. Sometimes it'll be here, sometimes it'll be downstairs. It just depends. My puppies are here. Hi, Rudy. Hi, Jojo. And we are here to talk about another movie. By the way, before we begin, stay tuned later today for my quarter-term report, the best and worst films of the first quarter of the year, January through March. We have seen, after this, 50 films, so that's exciting. So we're already on track to maybe beating last year's record. All right, that being said, hi. It's me, Grant, the movie TV guy. Welcome to Raise on Popcorn with Grant. Movies and TV, that's what we do here. Today we are talking about the movie Tetris. Tetris is directed by John S. Baird, who previously did the film Stan and Ollie. I've not seen Stan and Ollie. I hear it's really good. The film about, I believe, is it Laurel and Hardy? I think it's Laurel and Hardy. It's on my list. I haven't seen it yet. I'm really extra tempted to now. So Tetris is named after, but is not an adaptation of the game Tetris. It is an adaptation of the story behind the game Tetris. The main center of the film is a gentleman by the name of Hank Rogers. Hank with an E instead of an A. He is played by the always terrific Taron Egerton, who is back here. Matthew Vaughn, I should point out, is one of the film's producers. It is very similar in a lot of ways to another Matthew Vaughn, Taron Egerton joint that went under the radar, Eddie the Eagle. Excuse me. He is Hank Rogers, and when his deal for a game he's promoting at a convention doesn't quite go because the game is kind of terrible, he happens upon the game Tetris, in an arcade cabinet by a fellow person. He has meetings with Nintendo, who are going to launch a certain handheld device we now know as the Game Boy. He says, package it with Tetris. And they said, well, can you get the rights? So that is this movie. He goes, eventually, his adventure to get the handheld gaming rights to Tetris takes him all the way to Moscow, where he forms a friendship with the creator of the game, Alexei Pajitnov, who is played here by the actor Nikita Efremov. I hope I'm saying that name correctly, who's great here. And at great personal risk, they are trying to get it before Kevin Maxwell and his father, Robert Maxwell, of the video game company Mirrorsoft, get the rights first. The battle is on. And could this little game called Tetris also turn the tide in the fall of the Soviet Union? And also, could it form a friendship between these two very different men from very different worlds? Let the battle for the game begin. So, Tetris is a really entertaining, fun flick. It's breezy, it's entertaining, it's 2 hours, but it goes by really quickly. It's streaming on Apple TV+, and I think it's in some select theaters, maybe. And, yeah, it's a blast. This is a really fun flick. I really love what director John S. Baird does visually in this film, particularly using NES 8 and 16-bit style graphics in the actual film itself. For instance, the title of the movie appears as the loading screen of Tetris, and then it says, begin, and we see the movie, the different stages of getting these rights are levels, and we see in the transitional periods the characters as sprites going to these places. That was really cool. There's a car chase where the damage to the car is represented by pixels flying off of it, and de-resing and all that stuff. Really interesting, and I really like the approach of the actual sort of strange. It's truth is strange as fiction. Now, I know that some of this has to be. There was apparently no car chase, but so there are some things that are definitely fictional here. But I like just the somewhat absurd elements of the story. Taron Egerton, for instance, is married to a woman named Akemi who's they live in Japan. He's American, but he lives in Japan with his wife and kids. And she's played by Eion Nagabuchi. And there's a scene where they are talking, and he says, you got to bet the house sometimes. And she goes, yeah, but you literally bet our house. Like, so, something to that extent. And it's like, that's really kind of... and he did, too. He used his home as collateral to make sure that for his deal with Nintendo. Really interesting stuff. And I think it is kind of funny that this movie's coming out like only about a little less than a week before the Super Mario Brothers movie drops, because it's kind of an interesting... There are some Mario references here. One particular cool one is when Hank is at a low point. He compares it to, like, in Mario when you go to jump up, hit the block, and grab the mushroom to power up. And he says, I need a mushroom. And then it smash cuts to the Hank sprite running through the Mario platform, hitting it, and instead of a mushroom, it's a Tetris block. That was really neat, and that's what powers him up. That was a really cool, so little things like that. Also, just as I was not alive in the late 80s, but I was alive in the early 90s, and I will say this, I had a Game Boy. I eventually had a Game Boy Color. So there was a certain level of nostalgia of seeing the old school Game Boy there, like, before it was a thing, and the kind of legendariness, and they treat it like almost like a trophy, where you see it when it's in its prototype stage, and they give it like a big reveal, as it deserves. Yeah, this movie was a lot of fun, and a really good story. If there's one kind of minor problem I have that kind of keeps it from the top of the heap, because I really did kind of love this movie, it's this. I do think that this movie is somewhat constrained a little bit by the fact that it needs to fit only a feature film. I feel like this story actually would legitimately benefit from being a limited series. And I do think sometimes its slickness can sometimes get the better of it, in the sense that there are threads with its 2-hour runtime. Having to get in and get out and be really slick while doing it kind of lets some threads fall a little bit by the wayside. However, all that being said, I still kind of love Tetris, and I think we can close the book there. I'm not going to go all the way, but I'm going to go pretty far. I'm going to give Tetris 4.5 out of 5 stars. This was a really fun flick. Really good one to end the quarter on. This was a really fun time, and if you're a video game fan, or if you've never played it before, ever never played a game in your life, you'll probably like this movie. In the same way that you'd like other, game. There are a lot of good gaming movies out there. One other one I'd recommend if you like Tetris is, I don't know where it is. It might be on HBO. I think it's HBO produced it. So it might be on HBO Max. The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters is a really good documentary. Highly recommended. But anyway, yeah, Tetris 4.5 out of 5 stars. Let's close the book on it. Trailer trash. Mostly none, although we did get a little trailer, because it was on Apple TV+, but we did get a little trailer at the beginning for that new movie Ghosted, with Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. Yeah, I'll be seeing that one, because it has Chris Evans and Ana de Armas in it. But it looks like fun. It's like a romantic action comedy. Looks like a fun time. But yeah, that's it. And then was there shawarma? Yes. There were some graphics, and then there was a couple of minutes of extra footage during the credits. During the scrolling credits. We're sticking around for, but there was nothing after. All right. That is it for this weekend. We will be back Wednesday for a review of Air, which my buddy Ryan got to see a little early last night and said was really good, so I'm looking forward to it. Thursday, we're talking about Paint. Friday is the Super Mario Brothers movie. We also are, I'm going to try to check out the streaming films Praise This and On a Wing and a Prayer. I will do my best. But those are coming up. We also have coming up Suzume, The Pope's Exorcist, Mafia Mama, and Renfield. Those are all coming up. Evil Dead Rise, Beau's Afraid. A lot of cool stuff coming out in April. Big George Foreman. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming out in April. But yeah, that'll all be next time. And until next time, I'm Grant, the movie and TV guy. I see it all, and I'm happy to share it with you. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I love you all, class dismissed. I love you 3,000. Be kind to one another. If you like this video, give it a like if you want to. Give it a subscribe if you want to. Give it the bell. I don't know what it does, but that's what you're supposed to do, or so I've been told. Leave a comment, even if it's Hey Grant, I like waffles. It really helps out. If you want to find me elsewhere, reviews, lists, and other fun stuff, you can check me out on letterboxd.com at Raised on Popcorn with Grant. Twitter, I'm at Raise Grant. You can find me on Facebook, Raise Popcorn with Grant. Serialized, I am all one word, all lowercase, Raised on Popcorn. Check out my podcast, Raised on Popcorn with Grant, the podcast, on Spotify and Anchor. Some of you already have, but even if you haven't, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. It's incredibly important. And I want to know down below, what did you think of Tetris? Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Think my opinion's good? Think I'm full of shit? Comment below, let me know. And until we meet again, we're all raised on popcorn. Big mouth, extra butter. Catch you guys next time. Take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.